Students, let's start with the molecular orbital theory. This theory is to explain the characteristics of molecule like their relative bond strength, paramagnetic and diamagnetic nature, and many more things related about the molecular orbital. Here, this theory were given by Han and Mulliken in 1932, and this theory is known as molecular orbital theory. So let's have view of the silent feature of this theory. First, the electron in a molecule are present in the various molecular orbital as the electron of atom are present in the various atomic orbital. Here, if we will be talking about the number of electron present in a single atomic orbital, same are present in any of the molecular orbital. Like if we will be talking about hydrogen, when atoms of hydrogen, one atom of hydrogen is having one electron, another atom of hydrogen is having one electron. So when they both combine with one another, then the molecular orbital is going to form and they will be having one electron, means they are having two electron on that. Okay, so it is formed like valence bond theory. It start with atomic orbital. The atomic orbital, it is formed by the overlapping, and new orbital is going to form, which is called to be as the molecular orbital. Okay, so whenever any molecular orbital is going to form, the atomic orbital is going to lose all of its identity. Okay, it do not have their individual identity. So here molecular orbital can be defined as when two atomic orbital combine, they lost their identity and form new orbital. These new orbital are called to be as molecular orbital. Okay. Second, the atomic orbital of comparable energy and proper symmetry combine to form molecular orbital. Here, whenever we are talking about the combination between two atomic orbital, it can be combined to form molecular orbital which have comparable energy and proper orientation should be there. Like if we have combination of 1s can combine with 1s only and cannot with 2s, because the energy level or the energy difference between 1s and 2s is there. That's why 1s can combine with 1s only. And if we want the combination between a second shell, then the second shell can combine with 2s, 2p and 2z. Okay, means 2s can combine with 2pz only, because s and z they are having same orientation, because orientation should also be same, because 2s and 2p though they are having same energy but the orientation is not same. So orientation and the energy both should be equal, then only the combination will take place and then the formation of molecular orbital will be formed. Okay, next we have while an electron in an atomic orbital is influenced by one nucleus, in a molecular orbital it is influenced by two or more nuclei depending upon the number of atom in a molecule present. Okay, so whenever we are talking about the atomic orbital is always monocentric. It means atomic orbital it is having one nucleus. Like for hydrogen it has only one nucleus, but whenever molecular orbital is formed, it is polycentric. Poly means more number of nucleus are present. It depends on the number of atom is going to combine. If we will be talking about H2, because it is formed by the combination of two hydrogen, so it has two center. If we have S8, then it has 8 center. It means it depends on the number of atom that is going to combine for the formation of molecular orbital. Next we have the number of molecular orbital formed is equal to the number of combining orbital. When two atomic orbital combine, the two molecular orbital is formed. One is known as bonding molecular orbital and another one is known as anti-bonding molecular orbital. See, whenever we are talking about the combination, so when two atomic orbital combine, they are going to form two new orbital, that is called as molecular orbital. So one orbital is called to be as bonding molecular orbital and another one is called to be as anti-bonding molecular orbital. The molecular orbital has lower energy and hence greater stability than the corresponding anti-bonding molecular orbital. Here when we compare the energy of both, so molecular orbital means in case of bonding molecular orbital they are having low energy. Because of the low energy the stability is more, and if we are talking about the anti-bonding they are having high energy, that's why they are less stable as compared to the bonding molecular orbital. Now, just as the electron probability distribution around a nucleus in an atom is given by an atomic orbital, The electron probability distribution around a group of nuclei in a molecule is given by molecular orbital. Okay, so if we will be talking about the probability of electron, probability of the distribution, so molecular orbital gives the electron probability distribution around a group of nuclei, just as an atom orbital gives the electron probability distribution around the single nucleus. Okay. Next, the molecular orbital like atomic orbital are filled in accordance with the above principle, obeying Pauli's exclusion principle and Hund's rule. Whenever we are filling the electron in the molecular orbital, here also we are having the electronic configuration for the molecular orbital. So here the filling of the electron in the molecular orbital is also according to the same rules as those of atomic orbital. Like it also has to follow above principle, Pauli exclusion principle and Hund's rule. On following these all rules only, the electron can be filled in the molecular orbital also. Next, if we will be talking about the shape of the molecular orbital, so the shape formed depend upon the type of combining atomic orbital, that what type of atomic orbital is going to combine. Okay, whether S combination between S and N takes place, or P, X or P is going to combine with one another. So it depends on the type of atomic orbital that is going to combine. Next, here the molecular orbital are represented as sigma and pi, whereas the antibonding molecular orbital is represented as sigma star and pi star. Okay, so these are some of the features of the molecular orbital theory. Next, we have the difference between the atomic orbital and the molecular orbital. Their electron cloud extend around the nucleus of a single atom. Atomic orbital is monocentric, we know, so electron cloud is present over the single atom only. But if we will be talking about the molecular orbital, their electron cloud extend around the nuclei of the bonded atom in a molecule. That is, molecular orbital is polycentric. They are obtained by the combining orbitals of comparable energy. So here the electron cloud is not present over one nucleus only, it is present over the bonded atom or in the bonded form. Okay. Atomic orbital they are less stable, whereas molecular orbital they are more stable. Atomic orbital they are having simple shape, whereas molecular orbital they have complex shape. Atomic orbital they are represented as s, p, d and f, whereas molecular orbital are represented as sigma, sigma star, pi and pi star. They may be bonding or anti-bonding. Whenever we are having sigma or pi, they are represent bonding, and whenever we are having sigma star and pi star, they represent anti-bonding. Okay. So after that, we will be having formation of molecular orbital, that is linear combination of atomic orbital. Okay, so here the formation of molecular orbital can be explained on the basis of this linear combination of atomic orbital. So here, keeping this in mind that atomic orbital is an electron wave actually. We have studied about the electron wave. The wave of two atomic orbital may be in the same in phase or in the out phase. Just imagine like we are having psi A and psi B. It represents the amplitude, that is the wave function, okay, of the electron of the atomic orbital of two atoms, that is A and B. So when the two waves are in phase, means constructive interference, so that they add up, and then see here with this one you will be able to understood if and actually how this bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbital is going to form. So if they, whenever they both are in the same phase, so that they add up, and the amplitude of the new wave will be psi a plus psi b. Okay, that is sigma is equal to psi a plus psi b. But when the two waves are out phase, means in the destructive interference, so the wave are subtracted from each other, so that the amplitude of the new waves will be sigma is equal to psi a minus psi b. So the probability of given the probability is given by the square of the amplitude. Okay, that we already have done in previous chapters. So here, because of this, means whenever they are in the same phase, then the bonding is going to form, or whenever there is subtraction between the two orbitals, so then the whatever the orbital is going to form, that is called to be as anti-bonding molecular orbital. So anti-bonding molecular orbital, they are having high energy, and they are always represented in the upper side because of the high energy and less stability, whereas bonding molecular orbital, they are having less energy, that's why they are always represented at the lower side. Look at the structure with the help of this one. Here one arrow is given, that is increasing energy. So because the energy of anti-bonding is more, that's why uh, it is present in the above side. Okay, so these are the formation of molecular orbital, so which would be explained on the basis of LCAO, that is linear combination of atomic orbital. Okay, so the combination of two new molecular orbital is formed. So one by the additive effect and other by the subtractive effect of the atomic orbital. Because of the addition of the atomic orbital, bonding is going to form, and because of the subtraction, anti-bonding is going to form. Okay, so the molecular orbital formed by the additive effect is called to be as bonding, and the molecular orbital which is formed by the subtractive effect is called to be as anti-bonding. So here the probability of finding of electron in bonding molecular orbital increases, whereas it decreases in the anti-bonding molecular orbital. Okay, so here we are having, these are all about the formation of molecular orbital. After that we are having condition for the combination of atomic orbital. There are certain conditions given for the combination. Only those atomic orbital can combine to form molecular orbital which are following these conditions. Okay, so let's have the condition. First condition, the combining atomic orbital should have comparable energy. Okay, like if we will be talking about homonuclear, for homonuclear diatomic molecule of the type A2, 1s atomic orbital of one atom can combine with the 1s atomic orbital of another only. Like 2s can combine with the 2s 2p 2p only, and 1s cannot combine with the 2s, and 2s cannot combine with 2p. Okay, why does it happen? Because of the difference in the energy level. If the energy level is same, or they are having comparable energy, then only the combination would takes place. So combinations are possible only for the heteronuclear diatomic molecules of the type AB. This type of combination in which 2s can combine with 2b. Second is the combining atomic orbital must have the proper orientation, or proper symmetry should be there. What do you mean by proper symmetry? That like if we are taking z axis as the internuclear axis, 2pz orbital of one atom can combine with the 2pz orbital of another atom. But 2pz orbital of one atom cannot combine with the 2px and 2py, because we know the orientation of this one is different. We have seen the structure of these all 2px 2py and 2pz. They all are having different orientation. So 2pz have that ability to combine with the 2pz only, but it cannot combine with the 2px and 2py because of the difference in the orientation. Okay, like that 2px cannot combine with 2pi 2py, and 2s orbital of one atom can combine with the 2pz. We know because 2pss is having spherical shape, and 2pz it can combine with the s, because of that only sigma bond is going to form, but it cannot be combined with 2px or 2py orbital of any other atom. Why? Because they do not have the proper orientation. Okay, their orientation is just different, that's why here combination will not takes place. Next, the combining atomic orbital must overlap to the maximum extent. It means the extent of overlapping should be large. Greater will be the overlapping, greater will be the electron density between the nuclei. Okay, so if the overlapping is more, it will be more easy for the formation of orbital. So these are some condition for the formation of molecular orbital. If this condition is not followed, then molecular orbital would not be formed. Now let's have types of molecular orbital. So molecular orbital of diatomic molecules are designed as sigma, pi and delta. Okay, so here we have mostly two type of we are talking, that is sigma molecular orbital. The molecular orbital which are symmetrical around the internuclear axis or bond axis is called as sigma molecular orbital, whereas pi molecular orbital, the molecular orbital which are formed by the lateral overlap of p orbital, is called pi molecular orbital. The molecular orbital are not symmetrical around the internuclear axis or bond axis. Okay, so here whenever we are having the formation of sigma molecular orbital, if two atomic orbital overlap along the internuclear axis, the molecular orbital which is formed is called to be a sigma. If two atomic orbital overlap sidewise, so the molecular orbital formed is called to be as pi molecular orbital. Okay, side by side or head by head overlapping is there. So if head to head overlapping is there, sigma molecular orbital is going to form, or sidewise overlapping, then pi molecular orbital is going to form. Now let's have the energy level diagram for the molecular orbital. Here we also have the electronic configuration. This is a very important topic, students, because electronic configuration is very important. 3 marks question will be asked from this section. So here we have the electronic configuration like see for nitrogen, carbon, boron, beryllium and lithium we have different electronic configuration, but for oxygen, fluorine and neon we have different electronic configuration. So always take care what is the difference between these two. Okay, so since 2s atomic orbital they have higher energy level than 1s atomic orbital, therefore the pair of molecular orbital obtained from 2s atomic orbital they have the higher energy than that of pair of molecular orbital, okay, obtained from the 1s atomic orbital. So within the same pair of molecular orbital, the bonding molecular orbital has lower energy and the anti-bonding molecular than the anti-bonding molecular orbital. So here the energy of the pair of molecular orbital obtained by the combination of 2px and 2px, 2py and 2py and 2pz and 2pz. So atomic orbital are higher than those of pair of molecular orbital obtained from 2s atomic orbital. Out of these 6 molecular orbital, that is pi 2px, pi 2py, have equal energy, that is degenerate. They are degenerate. Degenerate means the orbital which are having same energy, whereas pi star, that is 2px, and pi star 2py, they also have equal energy, so they are also degenerate. But out of 6 molecular orbital formed from the combination of p orbital, that is pi 2px, pi 2py, they have the lowest energy, being they are having the equal or they are degenerate. But and sigma star, that is 2pz, has the highest energy. The energy of sigma 2pz is higher than that of pi 2px and pi 2py, and those of pi star 2px and pi star 2py. And in between those, sigma 2pz and sigma star 2pz are there. So first 10 molecular orbital can be arranged in order of their energy as follows. Here we are having the electronic configuration of these. So always take care whenever we will be doing the electronic configuration, first we have to write about the bonding, then anti-bonding, that is sigma 1s, then sigma star 1s, this sigma star represent anti-bonding, then sigma 2s, then sigma star 2s, then we have pi 2px is equal to pi 2py, because they both are having the same energy level, that's why here we have to put equal to, and then we have sigma 2pz. Okay, these all represent bonding. After that we have sigma star 2px and sigma star 2py, they both are having equal energy, and the highest energy, that is of sigma 2pz. But whenever we are doing the electronic configuration of oxygen, fluorine and neon, here the energy level is little bit changed. For 1s and 2s we have same, that sigma 1s or sigma star 1s, then sigma 2s and sigma star 2s. After that we do not have pi 2px and pi 2py. Here there is change. Here sigma 2pz is before pi 2px and pi 2py, because here the energy level is little bit changed, as in case of oxygen, fluorine and neon, then nitrogen, carbon, boron, beryllium and lithium. Okay, so always take care, here there is change. And then we have the same, that is pi star 2px and pi star 2py, and then sigma star 2pz, it is having the highest energy. So these you have to remember. For that, for different molecules we will be having the electronic configuration. Here one more thing that you have to know, only till neon we have the electronic configuration, like molecular orbital electronic configuration. After that we will not have the electronic configuration of any other element after neon. Okay, so let's have the electronic configuration. See, these are the energy level we are having. electronic configuration here, it is not there. Before going to the electronic configuration, look at this one. What is electronic configuration? The distribution of electron among various molecular orbital, because here we are talking about molecular orbital. So the distribution of electron over the molecular orbital is called as the electronic configuration of the molecule. So here this electronic configuration tell us the stability of molecule. How do we know the stability of molecule? With the help of bond order, we can also calculate the bond order. We can also know the nature of the bond length, and the magnetic character also we know with the help of molecular orbital or electronic configuration of the molecule. How do we calculate bond order? So this bond order can be calculated by taking formula, that is bond order is equal to 1 by 2 Nb minus Na, where B represent bonding and Na represent anti-bonding. Just remember this one, then I will show you how to put the values. Okay. Now nature of the bond is what? Means if here we have the bond order 1, that it means it is single bond, 2 that means double bond, 3 it means triple bond. Okay, so bond length, what is bond length? As the bond order increases, bond length will become decreases, because here the bond order is inversely proportional to bond length. Third, it also tells us the magnetic nature. Magnetic nature means whether they are attracted towards the magnetic or not. So if they are having pair electron, if any of the orbital is having pair electron, it means it is dimagnetic. It means it is not attracted towards the magnetic field. But if any of the orbital is having unpaired electron, it means they are attracted, and they are called to be as paramagnetic in nature. Okay. See, here we have the electronic configuration for hydrogen molecule. Like we have one hydrogen, atomic number of hydrogen is 1, but here we are talking about hydrogen molecule, that is H2. It means here the molecular orbital configuration of this one is 2, because 1 and 1 combined then form 2. So that's why here when we will do the electronic configuration, it start with sigma 1s and then sigma star 1s. But because one orbital can accommodate 2, that's why here we have sigma 1s2 only. So here how do we calculate the bond order? So for bonding we have 2, because sigma represent bonding. So for bonding we have 2, but for anti-bonding we have 0. Anti-bonding, we do not have the electron to put on the anti-bonding. That's why in place of Na we have to put 0. It is divided by 2, that is in the formula only. 1 by 2 is equal to Nb minus Na. That was the formula. So it is equal to 1. It means the bond order of this one is 1. So it means it is having single bond, and because of the presence of paired electron, here one orbital is having 2 electron on that, and rest of the orbital is vacant. So that's why, because of the presence of pair electron, this shows dimagnetic nature. Okay. Now for the helium, again the atomic number of helium is 2, and here we have 2 helium, it means 4. So electronic configuration would be 1s2, sigma 1s2 and sigma star 1s2. Sigma represent bonding and sigma star represent anti-bonding. When we calculate the bond order, so that is for bonding we have 2, for anti-bonding also we have 2. So 2 minus 2 is equal to 0, 0 upon 2 is also equal to 0. That's why here the molecule of He do not form. Okay, so here the bond order of this one is 0. For beryllium, what is the atomic number of beryllium? That is, atomic number of beryllium is 4. So 4 plus 4, that is 8. So here the electronic configuration of this one is sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, then sigma 2s2 and sigma star 2s2. Sigma 1s and sigma 2s represent bonding, whereas sigma star 1s and sigma star 2s represent anti-bonding. Again we will be having 4 minus 4 upon 2, that is 0 upon 2 is equal to 0. That's why here Be2 molecule is also unstable, and Be2 molecule do not form. Okay, and it has 0 bond order. So with the help of this one we can calculate the bond order. For lithium, we have atomic number of lithium is 3. For 2 lithium we have 6. So it is 1s2, sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2 and sigma 2s2. We do not have any electron to put on the sigma star 2s. Okay, so we have for bonding we have 4, for anti-bonding we have 2. 4 minus 2, that is 2 upon 2, it is equal to 1. That's why lithium can make a bond with another lithium with a single bond. Okay, and because of the presence of here also we do not have any of the unpaired electron, that's why it is also show means dimagnetic nature. Now these are the various electronic configuration. Carbon their characteristics we have for oxygen, we have for nitrogen their bond order. This is for nitrogen, for oxygen. So students, kindly please go through that because it would be difficult to explain each and every one. But it is very important. If you will be getting any difficulty, then please ask me. This structure is for 1s, then we have for 2s, and this is for 2p. In 2p we have pi 2px and pi 2py at the bottom, then we have sigma 2px. They all are representing bonding. After that we have pi star 2px and pi star 2py, and then we have sigma star 2pz. They all represent anti bonding. Okay. Now after this one we have the last topic of this chapter, that is called as hydrogen bonding. What do you mean by hydrogen bonding? So it can be defined as the partial attractive force which bind hydrogen atom of one molecule with the electronegative atom. Always take care whenever we are talking about the hydrogen bonding. This hydrogen bonding can be formed only with the hydrogen and with the most electronegative element, that is with fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen. They are only able to form the hydrogen bond. Okay, so whenever a molecule contains a hydrogen atom linked to highly electronegative atom like fluorine oxygen atom, this atom attract the share pair of electron more, and so this end of the molecule becomes slightly negative while the other end becomes slightly positive. So the negative end of the molecule attract the positive end of the other. As a result, a weak bond is going to form between them, and this bond is called to be as what? This bond is called to be as hydrogen bond. So this is represented as the dot dot. See, here we have fluorine and hydrogen. We know they both are non-metal, and whenever the bond formed between the non-metal, it is called as covalent bond. But here the bond is not, hydrogen bond is not going to form between the hydrogen and fluorine of the one molecule. Like here we have one hydrogen fluoride, second hydrogen fluoride, and third hydrogen fluoride. Three molecules are there. So the bond is formed between the one molecule and the other molecule. Okay, the bond between H and F is covalent bond, but the bond, because fluorine is there, first fluorine, see here the bond which is formed between the molecule, one molecule to the another molecule. So this bond is called to be as hydrogen bond, which is weak force of attraction, which is formed because of the difference in the charges, because fluorine is going to have negative charge and hydrogen is going to have partial positive charge. So because of the difference in the charges, they show attraction towards one another, and because of that one hydrogen bond is going to form. Because fluorine is highly electronegative in nature, so it has the tendency to pull the hydrogen of other molecule also. Okay, so the bond that is going to form, it is called to be as hydrogen bond. Okay, so this type of bond is formed only between the hydrogen and fluorine, or hydrogen and oxygen, and hydrogen and nitrogen, because they are highly electronegative in nature. See, in case of water molecule, this is one water molecule in which we have H2O, again we have H2O, and then we have third molecule of H2O. They have the attraction between the oxygen and the hydrogen of the other molecule. So this bond is called to be as hydrogen bond. Again we will be having for the ammonia, three molecules of ammonia is there. The nitrogen being a more electronegative nature as compared to the nitrogen, so nitrogen has a tendency to pull or to attract the hydrogen of other molecule also. So the bond that is going to form between these two is called to be as hydrogen bond. Okay, so why does this bond is going to form? This bond is going to form because of the highly electronegative nature of these fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen. Because of that only they are going to have some of the partial charge present on that, and that's why hydrogen is going to show partial positive charge, and they are going to develop one bond that is called as hydrogen bonding. So here we have some of the condition for the formation of hydrogen bond, that the molecule must contain a highly electronegative atom linked to the hydrogen. Highly electronegative atom should be present. Okay, next is that the size of the electronegative atom should be small. The smaller the size, the greater is the electrostatic force of attraction. Okay, because of that only fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen is able to form the hydrogen bond, but rest cannot form. Chlorine, they are also having the same electronegativity as that of nitrogen. Nitrogen does not form hydrogen bond due to the large size. Okay, because of the large size of chlorine, they do not form the hydrogen bond, because they are, the size of this one is bigger. So condition is what? Condition is that it should be electronegative in nature. Second, the size should be small, but the size of chlorine is bigger. That's why chlorine do not form hydrogen bond. So here we have types of hydrogen bonding. So there are two type of hydrogen bonding. One is called to be as intermolecular hydrogen bonding, and another one is called to be as intramolecular hydrogen bonding. So what do you mean by intermolecular hydrogen bonding? So it is when hydrogen bonding takes place between the different molecule of the same or different compound. It is called to be as intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Like if you are having hydrogen fluoride or water molecule, so water and alcohol, or ammonia and water, they are the different compounds. So see, here we have the structure. Here we have HF. So here the bond is going to form between the different molecule. HF is one molecule, another HF, it is another molecule. So when any of the bond, it is formed between two different molecule of the same or different compound. It is not necessary that the compound should be HF only. It may be HF or HCl or H2O. So when the bond is going to form between one molecule and the another molecule, then it is called to be as intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Inter means inter school competition, means Jyoti school or some other school, we are having competition between one and the other school. So that is means of inter, means one molecule is going to form the hydrogen bond with the other molecule. This molecule may be same or may be different. So this type of bond is called to be as intermolecular hydrogen bonding. But here we have one more type of hydrogen bonding, that is called as intramolecular hydrogen bonding. So this type of hydrogen bonding is formed when the hydrogen atom is situated between the two highly electronegative atoms present in the same molecule, isn't it? When the two more electronegative element is present in the same molecule, like here we have nitrogen also, here we have oxygen also, both are electronegative in nature and both have the ability to form hydrogen bond. So at that time they both are going to form hydrogen bond. So when the hydrogen bond is going to form in the same molecule only, that is called as intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, so these are the two type of hydrogen bonding. With that we have finished this chapter. So I hope you all understood this chapter. If you will be getting any difficulty, student, then kindly please contact me, because we are explaining the chapter in hurry bari, because we have to complete the portion before midterm. That's why. But if you will be getting any difficulty, because this chapter is very important, each and everything you people have to understood very properly, because it will help you to get good marks in your competitive exam also. Okay, so please don't hesitate. If you will be getting any difficulty, then kindly please contact me. For today we have this much only. We will start next chapter in the next class. Thank you so much for hearing me.